So according to the article here, okay, this was the percentage that these players would be moved, correct? Yes. So when we're looking at this, you can see here's.
I was going to say real fast. Felix Bautista says 15%, and Zach Eflin 75%. Realized after I made it that the 1s and 7s look ridiculously close, but
very close.
Yeah,
I think people would be very upset if Felix Bautista was 75%.
Yeah, so Felix is 15%, which should be lower in my head, but you know.
Yeah, I think it should be in the negatives, but that's just me. But interesting enough, the two guys at the top of the list, Cedric Mullins and Ryan O'Hearn, each above 70%, with Ryan O'Hearn being the highest at 85%. Now, Zach Eflin, 75%, and then Ramon Arias and Tomoyuki Sagano
were just kind of, they were
just thrown in.
Yeah, I was going to say they were at the end of the article. I believe the final 20 were just not given percentages, but guys that are, they believe are on the, kind of on the chopping block who could be traded over the next month. So obviously you have the usual suspects. We talk about it all the time. Cedric, O'Hearn, Eflin, and Sugano. But then Felix Bautista and Ramon Arias was, I believe, number 36 on this ranking. So that's a guy that I don't think a lot of people have maybe talked about in the trade destinations. But hell, if you're a team fighting for a playoff spot and you need a guy that, hey, we don't want a guy to be a star. We're not going out looking for a star, but we're looking for somebody who can come in, maybe not play every day. Maybe he's just taking over for a few weeks, a month or so during an injury. Maybe it's you want a bench piece, a guy who can come off the bench and produce. Ramon Arias is exactly that. And that I could see him being a bigger trade chip than maybe if, they do decide to sell at the deadline. I think he could be a bigger trade chip than maybe we believe.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out in my mind, because I understand and I know, I think I have a pretty good pulse on what the front office is thinking and what they've done in the past. I think a lot of people, if you follow the team, you can see patterns. Mm-hmm. The one thing, though, that we have noticed is when there is a good deal that you feel like you can't pass that part up. So we're going back to 2022 with Trey Mancini, Jorge Lopez, that brought a good return for the Orioles in the process, right? I guess with me in this case, my feeling, Zach, on if you want to keep guys, trading them away and giving the opportunity that they might not come back, that's a bold move to have, because you're allowing them to go to a different space where they could fall in love with where they are, or they are valued in a different way, and that leads to them not coming back to Baltimore, so I think that's at the bottom of the list. But the other part of it is, you got to draw a line in the sand of who you want to be a part of your team when you are expected to go and win the AL East next year. The Orioles are going to be expected to win the AL East next year. Then just on the pitching side, I really think some pitchers could be available, but who are the pitchers that the Orioles would have for their actual rotation if you do that, right? I could understand Sagano being moved or Eflin, but outside of Brandon Young in the minor leagues, Zach, who is the rotation? Cade Povich comes back. Great. Mm-hmm. Kyle Bradish and Tyler Wells are not going to be expected until August, maybe September, just depending on how it plays out, right? So do you actually have the arms to go out there and pitch?
And I think that's something that people don't necessarily think about when they're like, oh, trade, Eflin, trade Sagano, trade Morton, and just get as many prospects as you can back. Makes sense if you're not thinking about, hey, we need, after the trade deadline, 50, 60 games to cover? It's like, in a nutshell, it looks like, oh, yeah, no, get as much value as possible. Who are you sending out? Like, are you now throwing out just AAA players, and now while we're trying to develop your, guys like Gunnar still, guys like Holiday, all that, are you going to be doing that while they're down 10-0, 6-0 in the first two innings because you don't have any major league level pitchers on the roster in the rotation? I mean, it doesn't make sense from a team perspective. Feel like if you're going to trade one of them, yeah, that makes total sense. But seeing people where it's like, hey, I saw someone on Twitter today say he needs to see 8 to 10 players traded that aren't a part of the future plans. Like, where's the roster? After are we just AAA Norfolk plus? at that point, you got to still field a major league team.
And
Like,
I know, call me crazy, or you know what they say in Austin Powers, Zach, 'cause I knew you were just going to say this line because you know it religiously like me. I used to think you were crazy, but now I can see you're nuts. Thank you. But I know people might think I'm crazy with this logic. I think the Orioles are going to battle back into this. I am not saying the Baltimore Orioles are going to make the playoffs. I'm not saying that. But when we're sitting at this list, Texas is in town right now. You just won game one. You win this series. Do you feel like you can play better than Texas, who you are 3.5 games back from right now, Zach? Do you think you could? I think so. How about the Angels, who you swept in Baltimore? They're 38-40. They are 4 games ahead of you. Do you think you can make up ground against them? I think so. How about the Twins? Well, maybe not the Twins. Well, luckily they don't have to play the Twins because the Twins had the Orioles number this year. But Kansas City Royals are only 4 games ahead of the Orioles. The Red Sox, who are going through it right now, if they're trying to find their identity, they've lost 3 straight. They're back at 500. The Orioles are 5 games back from the Red Sox. And how about the Seattle Mariners, who they went out and had arguably their best series of the season? They have the final wild card spot at 40-37. A team, that third wild card spot, I know people were saying, hey, it's going to be closer to 90. I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that it's going to take 90 wins to get in the dance this year. I think the AL has so much parity that 86 could be the number. Hell, I think 85 could be the number. Right now, the Mariners are 3 games over 500 for that final spot, Zach. So 3 games over 500 for a 162-game season puts us at what? At
trying to do math.
I don't even know. I know like 83 and 79 would be 162 games.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know if you can be with 3 games. Well, yeah, no. Why is my math so off with this?
No, yes, 83 and 79. So 84.
That's 162.
78, 85 and 77.
So that'd be 8 games over 500 for that point. Like, I think that's a team could get hot, but you know what, that the team right in front of them, the Blue Jays, they're 5 games over 500 right now. That's the second wild card spot. Tampa Bay's 8. I think Tampa Bay is going to continue to play well. I trust
No one wants it in the AL. No one wants it in the AL.
But it's interesting because when you look at the National League has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams fighting for a wild card spot that are over 500. In the American League right now, there are teams that are in the hunt. There's only 1 team over 500, and that's the Cleveland Guardians, a half game behind the Mariners. Think about that, right? So there is so much that can happen here, and I'm excited to see where this season goes. You know what I'm really excited about is the development, but I think for the Orioles, they have 5 weeks now until the trade deadline, Zach. 5 weeks.
Yeah.
They are 10 games under 500. If they close the gap to 4 games with 2 full months left, I don't know if you go full all out. I think, though, when we're looking at that list again, and I don't want to see this happen. I do not want to see Cedric Mullins moved. I don't want to see Ryan O'Hearn moved if you feel like you're in it. But if you were to move one of those guys, I would say I could see them moving Cedric because they have a lot of outfielders.
Yeah. Right?
Like, if Kowser's healthy and Carlson's there and you have, I don't know what's going to happen with Tyler O'Neill. Ramon Laureano's there. Ramon Laureano could get moved. You know what I mean? Like, this is why it's a weird deadline. Let's flip the script here for a second. This is a little exercise. I didn't think I'd go this way. And if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show. We do this live every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, right here on YouTube, X, and Facebook.